Welcome to the Daily Review. This is Razak, Senior Trading Strategist here at CMTrading. And today is October 30th, 2024, and today is Wednesday morning. So looking at the highlights today, very exciting. Gold pushing to new all-time record highs ahead of U.S. elections next week. But first, looking at today's major economic events. So we have all day today out of Germany, a preliminary CPI number coming out, and at 2:30 South African time from the United States, we have an advanced GDP, that's gross domestic results, coming out as well. Now, in addition, today we have corporate earnings for Microsoft and Meta. Now, looking at the market, starting out the Forex symbols, the major pairs extending their bounce versus the US dollar. And as we look at the indices, kind of a mixed bag. The Dow Jones retreating lower, while the Nasdaq actually pushing higher. Now, looking at commodities, oil also gets a bounce as that pushes higher. Now, looking at the stocks, also a mixed bag, but we're looking at Meta spike right before these earning results, saw Tesla retracing at that multi-time frame resistance area. And lastly, looking at cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin holding on to its highs on that upper resistance area. Now, let's take a look at the markets and see what we can expect from today's trading. So here we go with the Japanese yen. Now, this extended its bounce versus the dollar, and it's very significant because it broke above that 200-day moving average on a daily chart. So you could see it at 153.34. It did look like it was going to retrace the other day, but did hold itself back on these highs. Now, this is ahead of U.S. elections. Again, as you can see, the U.S. flag behind me. And this is just a telling sign of the amount of volatility. I think everybody's just betting and hedging their bet, so to speak, right before. Now, this is very important. The USD Canadian dollar getting lower to 139. 173, okay, this is a multi-time frame resistance area. Now, it has to really close above this 140 for me to call it a breakout, but we're getting ever so closer on a single day. So keep this on the radar, because if it does pop above, it will pop with some gusto. Now, remember, it's also linked to the price of oil, and as oil has really been in the dumps recently, I would imagine that Canadian dollar would depreciate as well. Now, jumping into gold, look at this, 27.81. Now, this has really consolidated several times in the 2600-ish range for quite some time, and then finally taking it up higher. So we're at 27.81, and we're getting closer to 3,000. Okay, at that point, we're really, that would be my next resistance level, to tell you the truth. I mean, like looking at a monthly, there's nothing telling me that it's going to stop me from getting there. And there's a lot of uncertainty in the markets, especially about next week's election in the U.S. markets. If Harris wins or Trump wins, however that's going to actually pan out, that's going to be kind of interesting. Now, looking at crude oil, it's on its lows here, 67.78, didn't bounce much, okay, but did get a bounce a little bit yesterday, as you can see here, from its 67.15-ish level. Now, looking at natural gas, also got a bounce at that support-ish level at 280-ish level, and we're at 286, not a big deal, but relatively it did push a little bit higher. Now, looking at the U.S. markets, the Dow Jones traded lower, okay? Not by a lot, but traded lower, while we saw the Nasdaq actually pushing higher to 20,754 right now, as this has pushed higher. Now, looking at the stocks, Facebook, look at that. This is Meta, coming out with the corporate earnings reports today, 593. We're just shy of our all-time record high, so just really have it on your radar because it's super important. Microsoft also coming up with its corporate earnings. Now, Microsoft has been super, super weak. Every time it's like, you know, the markets were going up, Microsoft wasn't, okay? And this is something to really pay attention to because Microsoft is such a huge component of the NASDAQ. So something to look at today to see how that corporate earnings is going to actually affect it. Are we going to completely make a slide back? Now, yesterday we did have corporate earnings for AMD pushed higher a little bit, okay? Nothing really big, but enough to really, you know, extend its rally to 166. So not bad for a day's trading. Now, lastly, let's take a look at Bitcoin, as this is really important at 72,172, almost on our record highs. Super important. Why is it super important? Again, U.S. elections are coming up next week. People are looking for safe havens. Gold, Bitcoin, two of the most safe havens because they're outside of the markets and not really affected to the markets directly, and that's why they are looking to put money into Bitcoin. So something that could push us higher or to all-time record highs. So it's something to keep an eye on, at least later today, and keep it on your watcher for sure. This is Fed Razak. I want to wish you guys a great trading day. Thank you.